We're going to talk about a number so big it's almost impossible to wrap your head around $35 trillion. dollars. But this isn't just about government spending. The source material we're digging into today argues it's really about a deal made 50 years ago, a deal that gives the cash in your wallet its value. So let's jump in.
You ever had that happen? You go to pay with cash and you get this weird look, right? Like it's some ancient relic. Well, the source material we're looking at today suggests that that piece of paper is only valuable because of what it calls a secret handshake that happened in some back room about 50 years ago. So what does a handshake have to do with this next number?
$35 trillion. That's the US national debt right now. I mean, it's a number with so many zeros, it basically loses all meaning, doesn't it? But our source argues it's all tied back to that $20 bill and the global system that gives it power. To really get it, we need to go back and see how that system was built in the first place.
All right, so first up, let's try to understand the real foundation of the dollar's power today. This isn't just about the American economy. It's about one specific, absolutely crucial agreement that pretty much changed the game for everyone.
So here's the argument from our source. The dollar didn't just stumble into being the world's most powerful currency. Nope, it was designed that way. See, after the US totally changed how its money was valued, it needed a brand new way to make sure the dollar stayed at the center of the universe. And that led to a deal.
And that system? It's got a name, the petrodollar. The source material points to a very specific agreement back in 1974, sometimes called the Jeddah Deal, as the exact moment this new world order was really born.
So let's walk through how we got here. It all kicks off in 1971. The US cuts the dollar's tie to gold completely. This created a huge, huge problem. If it's not backed by gold, what's backing its value? The answer came just 3 years later in '74, with a deal that basically backed the dollar with oil. And that system, created half a century ago, is more or less what we're still running on today.
Okay, this is where it gets really clever. Let's break down how this secret handshake actually worked. First, major oil-producing countries agree they will only sell their oil in US dollars. That means any country that needs oil, and let's be honest, that's basically every country, has to get their hands on US dollars first. Boom. Suddenly, you've created permanent, worldwide demand for your currency, making it the world's reserve currency. It was a genius move, really, backing the dollar, not with gold, but with black gold.
So how does this petrodollar system lead to a debt spiral? Well, according to the source, while it gave the US this unbelievable advantage, it also opened the door for, an explosion of debt like we've never seen before.
Think about it. If you can print the money everyone else in the world needs, you can run up some serious deficits. But the problem comes when you hit what the source calls the interest payment milestone. That's the point where just paying the interest on your debt becomes one of your biggest bills. It's a nasty, vicious cycle.
And this chart, wow, this really puts it all into perspective. Just look at the debt from 2 decades ago compared to where we are today. It's not a gentle slope, is it? It's practically a vertical line. You're looking at the debt spiral in real time.
Now, the source material uses some, let's just say, very strong language here. It calls this whole debt-based system a Ponzi scheme, one that needs a never-ending stream of new buyers for its debt just to keep the lights on. From this perspective, the system's entire stability depends on borrowing more and more.
So if the debt is unsustainable, what's next? What's the endgame? Well, this brings us to a potential future that the source warns about, calling it the CBDC guillotine.
And I know what you're thinking. CBDC. What on earth is that? Before we dive into what it could mean, let's just get the basic definition down. Okay, so put simply, a CBDC is a digital dollar. But here's the key difference. The money in your bank account right now, that's technically a liability of a commercial bank. You know, like Chase or Bank of America. A CBDC is different. It's a direct IOU from the central bank itself. It's like a digital version of a physical dollar bill.
And this is where the differences get really, really important. Let's just look at this table. Privacy. Physical cash, totally anonymous. A CBDC? Well, it could be tracked. Then there's control. You control the cash in your wallet, but a digital dollar would be controlled centrally. And finally, and this is the real kicker for the source, is programmability. Your cash is just cash, but a CBDC could, in theory, be programmed with rules, like maybe an expiration date. These are the kinds of differences that are fueling this whole debate. All right, so where does all of this leave us? We've gone from a secret handshake to a debt spiral, and now we're at the final calculation. And this is really the core of the source's argument, right here.
The claim is that no matter what politicians promise or what economic theories they use, at the end of the day, the system has to answer to cold, hard math. The idea of a magic money tree that can just grow forever without consequences, well, eventually it runs into reality.
And that leaves us with this final, very provocative question from the source material. It's not giving you an answer, it's turning it back on you, asking you to think about a future where today's system might not exist. Gold versus Bitcoin? It's a question designed to make you think about what value even means in a potential post-dollar world. And it's a pretty compelling place to end our look at the $35 trillion debt spiral.